editorials. We are broadcasting from Canada. I am Sandra Asante. Today we'll be discussing the alleged sexual slavery in Tigray. So I'll be back with more. Stay tuned, don't go nowhere. You're welcome back from the break. In 11 women tell Reuters they have been raped by soldiers as a top Ethiopian officials has made a sexual slavery accusation. Hundreds of women have reported that they were subjected to horrific sexual violence and allied Eritrean soldiers after fighting broke out in November. A young mother was trying to get home with food for her 2 children when she said soldiers pulled her out of the minibus in Ethiopia's Tigray region, claiming it was overloaded. It was the beginning of an 11-day ordeal in February, during which she saw and says she was repeatedly raped by 23 soldiers who forced nails, rock and other items in her vagina and threatened her with a knife as well. Doctors showed Reuters new agencies the blood-stained stone and 2-3 inches nails they say they had removed from her body. The woman, 27, is among hundreds of who have reported that they were subjected to horrific sexual violence by Ethiopian and allied Eritrean soldiers after fighting broke out in November in the mountainous northern region of Ethiopia, the doctor said. Some women were held captive for extended periods, days or weeks at a time, said Dr. Fasika Ahmad Selassie, the top public health official for the government-appointed interim administration in Tigray. Women are being kept in sexual slavery. Fasika told Reuters the perpetrators have to be investigated. Reports of rape have been circulating for months, but Fasika assertions based on women's accounts marks the first time an Ethiopian official, in this case a top regional health officer, has made a sexual slavery accusation in connection with the conflict in Tigray. In addition, 8 other doctors at 5 public hospitals told Reuters that most of the rape victims described the attackers as Ethiopian government soldiers or Eritrean troops. It was more common for women to report sexual violence by Eritrean soldiers. The doctor said the Eritrean have been helping Ethiopia's central government fight the region's former ruling party, the Tigrayan People's Liberation Front, in the conflict plaguing the Horn of Africa nation. Taken together, the description paints the most detailed picture to date of the sexual violence against women in Tigray and the military's alleged involvement in it. Most people interviewed for this article declined to be identified. They said they feared reprisals, including possible violence by soldiers who guard the hospitals and towns. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed acknowledged in a speech to Parliament on 23rd of March that atrocities were being committed by raping women and promised that the perpetrators will be punished. He did not identify the alleged perpetrators. He said then for the first time that Eritrean soldiers have entered the conflict in Tigray in support of the Ethiopian government after the TPLF attacked military based across the region in early hours of November 4th. Ethiopia's government had previously denied this accusation, and the Eritrean government still do not acknowledge the troops' presence. The TPLF was the dominant power in the central government of Eritrea, fought a bloody border war with Ethiopia a generation ago. Neither the Ethiopian nor the Eritrean government responded to questions from Reuters about specific cases raised by women and their doctors, or about the accusations of sexual slavery. No charges have been announced by civilian or military prosecutors against any soldiers. However, officials in both countries emphasize that their government have zero tolerance for sexual violence, a point Abiy spokeswoman Bilene Seyon said. The Prime Ministers reiterated recently in discussion with the military leaders the alleged sexual violence has drawn international attention as well. Bilene said the United Nations, the African Union, and Ethiopian state-appointed Human Rights Commission have been authorized to carry out joint investigations into alleged abuses by all sides in the conflict. That includes the criminal clique she referred to, the TPLF. An Ethiopian military spokesman and the head of the government task force on the Tigray crisis did not respond to phone calls and text messages seeking comment. Reuters could not reach military leaders in either country. Asked about the reports that Eritrean troops have committed rapes in Tigray and are keeping women in sexual slavery, the country's information minister Yamene Gabri-Meskel accused the TPLF activists of coaching sympathizers to create false testimonies. All the fabricated stories which are aligned to our culture and laws are peddled to cover up the crimes of the TPLF which started war, he told the Reuters in a written response. The Reuters was unable to read the TPLF spokesman. So let's take a look at the record of abuses. So Fasika, the health official, said at least 829 cases of sexual assault have been reported at the 5 hospitals since the conflict in Tigray began. Those cases were likely the tip of the iceberg. Fasika said rape is underreported in Ethiopia because it carries a huge stigma. Also, most of the region's health facilities are no longer functioning and travel between towns remain dangerous, he said. Most of the women who have come forward are either pregnant or sustain severe physical injury from the rape, Fasika said. Reuters interviewed 11 women who said they have been raped by soldiers from Eritrea, Ethiopia, or both. 4 said they were kidnapped, taken to military camps and gang raped in some cases alongside other women. The women did not know the camp names but said they were located near Makele and the towns of Igda, Homos, Wukro and Shararo. 5 other women said they were held in field or deserted houses for up to 6 days, and 2 said they were raped in their homes. Reuters could not independently verify their accounts. However, all told similar stories of being beaten and brutalized. Healthcare providers confirmed that the 11 women's injuries were consistent with the event they described, and they showed Reuters medical reports for 3 of the women detailed their conditions. The healthcare providers also shared details of 9 other cases of sexual assault, including the audios of 2 14-year-old girls. Although Ethiopia's government declared victory over the TPLF in November, fighting continues in some areas, and medical workers say new rapes are reported at the region's health facility every day. This is being done to dishonor the women, to break their pride, said the Dr. Adia Afera Hospital in Makele, citing the brutality of the attack and humiliation of victims. This is not for sexual gratification. The rapes are to punish Tigray. So let's look at the resistance short of all this violence. The government has set up a task force separate from the Human Rights Commission to investigate the report of sexual violence. Its head, Mabrihed Asefa, said the body includes representatives from the Regional Health Bureau, the Attorney General's Office, and the Federal Police. The task force planned to set up 5 centers where rape survivors can file reports with law enforcement and receive medical and physio-social support. Our prosecutors and police officers are there to investigate all crimes committed, including sexual violence, said also town a spokesman for the Attorney General's office. He did not respond to questions about the women alleging they were raped during captivity or whether prosecutors were in touch with either the Eritrean or the Ethiopian militaries. The result of the criminal investigations will be made public at an unspecified date, he said. Abera Nigos, the head of Tigray Justice Bureau, said the legal process was likely to be complicated because most courts are not functioning in Tigray and many rape victims cannot identify their assailants. Knowing their rapists are still at large has also discouraged women from seeking help, the doctor said. Many of the women who sought treatment at hospitals has vaginal and anal tears, sexually transmitted diseases and injuries that rendered them incontinent, said the Abdia Hospital doctor, an obstetrician gynecologist. The doctor shared notes from 11 cases the hospital had treated involving women raped by soldiers. One woman had been gang raped on 3 separate occasions, according to the hospital note. Another was 5 months pregnant when she was raped. The note indicated 2 14-year-old girls were sexually assaulted in front of their families. One girl had a hand and foot amputated. She has been shot for resisting her assailant. This is why one of the disheartening trauma women are going through in Ethiopia, and we seek that authorities will do something great about it to help them solve these issues. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been the editorial.